Right now, without even thinking about it, you're using one of the most mysterious features on your face. You've been using it since the day you were born. And yet, you probably have no idea why it's there. I'm talking about your eyebrows. Those two strips of hair above your eyes might seem simple, even trivial. But here's what scientists have discovered: your eyebrows are actually an evolutionary marvel. They're a feature that helped our ancestors survive. They're a communication tool more powerful than words. And they hold a secret that explains why humans became the dominant species on Earth. Every other ape on the planet, chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, they all have something we don't. A massive bony ridge above their eyes. Thick, pronounced, intimidating. But humans? We lost that ridge. And in its place, we developed something completely unique: mobile, expressive eyebrows. Why did this happen? When did it happen? And what does it reveal about what makes us human? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at eyebrows the same way again. You'll understand why these two small arcs of hair might be the most important feature on your face. Let's uncover the ancient secret your eyebrows have been keeping. Let's start with a question that puzzled scientists for over a century. Why don't humans have brow ridges? Walk into any natural history museum, and you'll see it immediately. Pick up the skull of a chimpanzee, a gorilla, even our ancient ancestors like Neanderthals. There's this thick, heavy bone protruding over the eye sockets. It's called the supraorbital ridge, or brow ridge. This ridge is massive. In some species, it sticks out an inch or more. It makes the face look powerful, aggressive, dominant. Now look at a modern human skull. That ridge? Almost completely gone. We have a smooth forehead. Just a slight curve where that thick bone used to be. Here's the fascinating part. For most of human evolution, our ancestors had that brow ridge. 2 million years ago, Homo habilis had it. 1.8 million years ago, Homo erectus had an even bigger one. 400,000 years ago, Homo heidelbergensis massive brow ridge. 200,000 years ago, even early Homo sapiens had hints of it. But then, somewhere between 200,000 and 100,000 years ago, something changed. The brow ridge started shrinking. The forehead became rounder, smoother, more vertical. And in its place, something new emerged: eyebrows that could move independently. Eyebrows that could express emotion. Why did this happen? For decades, scientists thought they knew the answer. They believed the brow ridge was there for mechanical reasons: to absorb the force of chewing, to protect the skull during fights, to support the facial structure. But in 2018, researchers at the University of York in England made a groundbreaking discovery. They used advanced computer modeling to test the old theories. And you know what they found? The brow ridge doesn't help with chewing. It doesn't protect against impact. It actually serves no mechanical purpose at all. So why was it there? And why did we lose it? The answer lies in communication. Dr. Paul O'Higgins, one of the lead researchers, explained it this way. The brow ridge wasn't about strength. It was about signaling. In other primates, a prominent brow ridge makes you look aggressive, dominant, threatening. It's a constant signal that says, "I'm powerful. Don't mess with me." But early humans were evolving in a different direction. We weren't becoming more aggressive. We were becoming more cooperative. Think about this. To hunt large animals, you need teamwork. To build shelter, you need collaboration. To raise children in harsh environments, you need community. And cooperation requires something specific: the ability to communicate emotions clearly. You can't build trust with someone who always looks angry and threatening. You can't form alliances if your face is stuck in one expression. So nature made a trade. We lost the intimidating brow ridge. And we gained something far more valuable: mobile eyebrows. These eyebrows could lift when we were surprised, furrow when we were concerned, Raise asymmetrically when we were skeptical. Soften when we were friendly. Suddenly, without saying a word, humans could communicate complex emotions. We could signal I'm friendly. I'm confused. I understand. I trust you. And here's the remarkable truth. This might be one of the key evolutionary changes that made us human. Not bigger brains alone. Not just language. But the ability to communicate emotion through our faces, starting with our eyebrows. The brow ridge disappeared. And humanity as we know it began. Let me show you something incredible. Right now, I want you to try an experiment. Look at someone near you, or look at yourself in a mirror or your phone camera. Now try to express these emotions but without moving your eyebrows. Surprise. Confusion. Anger. Sympathy. Suspicion. You can't do it, can you? Not convincingly. That's because your eyebrows are doing most of the heavy lifting in facial communication. Scientists at MIT ran a fascinating experiment. They showed people photographs of faces, some with normal eyebrows, some with the eyebrows digitally removed. The results were shocking. When eyebrows were removed, people struggled to recognize even familiar faces. In some cases, recognition dropped by over 40%. But when they removed other features like the eyes themselves, recognition only dropped by about 20%. Think about that. Eyebrows are more important for recognition than eyes. Why? Because eyebrows are one of the most mobile features on your face. They have an incredible range of movement. Raised, both, surprise, fear, disbelief. Lowered and together, anger, concentration, confusion. One raised, skepticism, curiosity, amusement. Inner corners raised, sadness, worry, pleading. Quick flash upward, recognition, acknowledgement, greeting. Each movement sends a different signal. And we process these signals faster than conscious thought. Let me tell you about Dr. Paul Ekman, the psychologist who pioneered the study of facial expressions. He discovered that eyebrow movements happen in what he called micro-expressions, facial movements that last less than half a second, sometimes just 1/25th of a second. These micro-expressions are universal. They're the same whether you're in New York, Tokyo, or a remote village in Papua New Guinea. When humans are surprised, our eyebrows shoot up. When we're angry, they furrow. This isn't learned, it's hardwired. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Humans don't just use eyebrows to express our own emotions. We use them to read other people's intentions. Imagine you're walking down a street at night. A stranger is approaching. In less than a second before they even speak, your brain is scanning their eyebrows. Are they raised in a friendly greeting? Are they lowered in aggression? Are they neutral, indicating indifference? Your brain processes this information instantly. And it determines whether you feel safe or threatened. This is survival information. For our ancestors living in dangerous environments, the ability to read someone's intentions quickly, friend or foe, could mean the difference between life and death. And eyebrows became the most reliable signal. Why? Because they're hard to fake. You can force a smile with your mouth. But genuine emotions show in the eyebrows first. Trained interrogators and poker players know this. They watch the eyebrows, not the mouth. In fact, there's a gesture that exists in almost every culture on Earth. It lasts about 1/60th of a second. And it's one of the most important social signals we have. It's called the eyebrow flash. Watch any greeting between friends, anywhere in the world. When people see someone they recognize and like, their eyebrows quickly flash upward and back down. It happens so fast most people don't consciously notice it. But your brain registers it. And it says, I see you. I recognize you. I'm friendly. The absence of an eyebrow flash? That sends a message to indifference, hostility, discomfort. This tiny movement, this fraction of a second gesture has been facilitating human social bonds for tens of thousands of years. Here's the secret. Your eyebrows aren't just hair on your face. They're a communication system that evolved specifically to make human cooperation possible. Without them, we couldn't build the complex social networks that define our species. We couldn't form the trust needed for communities, for trade, for civilization itself. Now, let's talk about something you might not have considered. Why do eyebrows have that specific shape? Why do they arch over your eyes in that particular way? The answer involves sweat, survival, and one of humanity's greatest evolutionary advantages. Humans are actually terrible runners compared to most animals. A cheetah can hit 70 miles per hour. A horse can run for hours at 30 miles per hour. Even a domestic dog can outrun most humans. But humans have one superpower: endurance. We can run for hours. In fact, humans are the best long-distance runners in the animal kingdom. How? Humans have between 2 and 4 million sweat glands covering our bodies. That's more than almost any other mammal. When we run, we sweat. That sweat evaporates, cooling us down. This lets us keep going when other animals have to stop and pant. Our ancestors used this advantage. They practiced something called persistence hunting. Here's how it worked. A group of hunters would spot an antelope or deer. They'd chase it. The animal would sprint away much faster than any human. But after a few minutes, it would have to stop, overheating. The humans would keep jogging. Not sprinting. Just jogging. They'd catch up. The animal would run again. Stop again. Run again. This would continue for hours, sometimes for 6 hours, in the blazing sun. Eventually, the animal would collapse from heat exhaustion. The human, still sweating, still cool, would walk right up to it. This wasn't rare. Indigenous hunters in the Kalahari Desert still practice this technique today. And evidence suggests humans have been doing this for hundreds of thousands of years. When you're running for hours in the heat, you produce a lot of sweat. And if you're running, that sweat is running down your face. If you've ever had sweat drip into your eyes, you know how it feels. It stings. It burns. Your vision blurs. You have to stop and wipe it away. Now imagine you're an ancient human, hunting prey, and suddenly you can't see. That's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. You could trip, lose your prey, or become prey yourself. Look at the shape of your eyebrows. They're not straight across. They arch. They follow the curve of your brow bone. This creates a channel, a gutter system. When sweat runs down your forehead, the eyebrows catch it. They divert it sideways, toward the temples, away from your eyes. It's brilliant engineering. Natural, built-in sweat protection. Scientists at Cambridge University actually tested this. They created models of human faces, some with eyebrows, some without. They simulated sweating by pouring water down the forehead. The result? With eyebrows, water flowed to the sides. Without eyebrows, water flowed straight into the eyes. And you see this function in action today. Athletes sweat profusely. But their eyebrows keep their vision clear most of the time. Ever notice that boxers often get cuts above their eyebrows? When that happens, blood and sweat mix and flow directly into their eyes. The fight often has to be stopped. That's because the eyebrow's protective function has been compromised. Different populations of humans have evolved slightly different eyebrows based on their environments. People from hot, sunny climates like sub-Saharan Africa, the Middle East, South Asia often have thicker, more pronounced eyebrows. More surface area to catch sweat. People from cooler climates like Northern Europe, Northern Asia often have finer eyebrows. Less sweat to manage, so less pronounced brows. This isn't a hard rule, of course. There's enormous variation within every population. But the general pattern is there evidence that eyebrows adapted to local environments. Your eyebrows aren't just about looking a certain way. They're a functional adaptation that helped your ancestors survive. When you exercise and sweat starts dripping down your forehead but somehow misses your eyes, that's not luck. That's 200,000 years of evolution, keeping your vision clear so you can keep moving. That's your eyebrows, doing the job they were designed to do. Humans have been obsessed with eyebrows for thousands of years. We've plucked them, shaped them, darkened them, even removed them entirely. We've used them to signal status, beauty, rebellion, and identity. Let me take you on a journey through history. The Egyptians were perhaps the first culture to make eyebrow modification a major beauty practice. Both men and women would darken their eyebrows with black coal, a mixture of lead, copper, ash, and burnt almonds. They'd create extended, dramatic brows that stretched toward the temples. Why? This wasn't just vanity. The Egyptians believed that dramatic eye makeup, including eyebrows, protected them from the evil eye and from evil spirits. It was spiritual protection. Cleopatra was famous for her eyebrows. Ancient accounts describe them as perfectly shaped and darkened, framing her eyes. Interestingly, when someone died, Egyptians would shave their eyebrows as a sign of mourning. When their eyebrows grew back, the mourning period was considered complete. The Greeks had a very specific ideal, the unibrow. That's right. A single, connected eyebrow across the forehead was considered the height of beauty and intelligence. Women who didn't naturally have connected brows would actually use dark powder or even black animal hair to create a false unibrow. This beauty standard persisted in various cultures. The famous Mexican artist Frida Kahlo embraced her natural unibrow in the 20th century, making it her signature look, a bold statement against conventional beauty standards. Here's where things get strange. In medieval Europe, the beauty ideal was a high, domed forehead. The higher, the better. It was associated with nobility and intelligence. So what did women do? They plucked their eyebrows. Not just shaped them, completely removed them. Some would even pluck their hairline to make their foreheads appear even higher. Look at many paintings from this era. You'll see women with almost no eyebrows at all. Just a smooth forehead and a slight suggestion of where eyebrows once were. The Catholic Church actually condemned this practice at one point, calling it vain and sinful. But fashion persisted. Fast forward to the 1920s, women began plucking their natural eyebrows and drawing on thin, dramatic arches with pencil. Silent film stars like Clara Bow popularized this look. The thin brow made eyes look larger on the silver screen. This trend continued through the 1930s and 1940s. Hollywood actresses like Marlene Dietrich and Joan Crawford became famous for their ultra-thin, highly arched eyebrows. The pendulum swung back. Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor brought back fuller, more natural brows. This was considered more wholesome, more elegant. The 90s saw another extreme. Models and celebrities plucked their eyebrows into thin, barely there lines. Pamela Anderson, Drew Barrymore, and countless supermodels sported eyebrows that were sometimes just a few millimeters wide. Many people who overplucked in the 90s now regretted their eyebrows never fully grew back. Today, full, natural, even thick eyebrows are celebrated. Cara Delevingne made bushy brows a supermodel trademark. The beauty industry now offers eyebrow tinting, microblading, transplants, growth serums, all to achieve fuller brows. Eyebrows are one of the most malleable features on our faces. We can change them, shape them, remove them. And because of that, they've become a powerful tool for cultural expression. Different eyebrow styles signal different things. Thick, natural brows equals confidence, naturalness. Thin, shaped brows equals elegance, precision. Bold, dark brows equals drama, intensity. Minimal intervention equals authenticity, comfort. But underneath all the trends, all the plucking and penciling, is that same evolutionary feature. Fashion changes. Trends come and go. But the fundamental purpose of eyebrows, communication and protection, remains unchanged. Let's bring everything together. We started with a question: why don't humans have brow ridges like other apes? Somewhere around 100,000 to 200,000 years ago, our ancestors underwent a remarkable transformation. The heavy, intimidating brow ridge, a symbol of dominance and aggression, began to shrink. And in its place emerged mobile, expressive eyebrows. This wasn't a random mutation. This was natural selection favoring cooperation over aggression. The same evolutionary period that gave us modern eyebrows also saw other critical changes. Our brains continued to grow. Our vocal cords developed for complex speech. Our social groups became more sophisticated. Art, culture, and symbolic thinking emerged. These changes are all connected. Think about it: what good is language if you can't read facial expressions to understand context? What good is a large brain if you can't work with others? What good is culture if you can't convey emotion and meaning? Eyebrows became part of the package that made us human. Today, right now, your eyebrows are working for you in ways you don't even realize. When you meet someone new, your eyebrows signal whether you're open or guarded. When you're in a meeting, your eyebrows show agreement or skepticism. When you're texting and you send an emoji, you're literally recreating what your eyebrows do in real life. We've even created digital eyebrows because we can't communicate effectively without them. No matter where you go on Earth, no matter the language, the culture, the customs, eyebrows speak a universal language. A raised eyebrow in Tokyo means the same thing as a raised eyebrow in Toronto. A furrowed brow in Mumbai conveys the same concern as one in Mumbai. An eyebrow flash in São Paulo communicates the same friendliness as one in Stockholm. And here's perhaps the most touching part. Babies are born reading eyebrows. Infants as young as a few months old will lock onto your eyebrows when looking at your face. They're learning to read emotion. They're learning to connect. That mother looking down at her baby, raising her eyebrows in delight, she's using a tool that connects her to every human mother for the last 100,000 years. They connect you to your ancient ancestors who first used them to signal cooperation. They connect you to every person you've ever had a meaningful conversation with. They connect you to the future, to your children and grandchildren who will use them to navigate their social world. The next time you look in the mirror, really look at your eyebrows. See them not as something to pluck or shape or worry about. See them as evolutionary masterpieces. See them as communication tools refined over hundreds of thousands of years. See them as the feature that helped make you and all of us human. Those two small arcs carry a secret. The secret that we survived not by being the strongest, or the fastest, or the fiercest. We survived by being able to communicate, to cooperate, to connect. We've traveled through time today, from our ancient ancestors losing their brow ridges, to the modern science of facial communication, to the cultural journey of eyebrow fashion. Your eyebrows aren't just cosmetic. They're functional, evolutionary, essential. They divert sweat to protect your vision. They communicate emotion faster than words. They signal trust, skepticism, surprise, and empathy. They connect you to every other human on Earth. Try this experiment. For the next 24 hours, pay attention to eyebrows, yours and others. Notice how you use them without thinking. Watch how others respond to your eyebrow movements. See if you can catch someone giving you an eyebrow flash. Then come back and share in the comments. What did you notice? Did this change how you think about communication? What's the most interesting eyebrow moment you observed? If this video changed the way you see your own face, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden science of being human. Share this with someone who loves trivia, science, or just appreciates the weird and wonderful things that make us who we are. And remember, every time someone raises their eyebrows at you in recognition, in greeting, in connection, you're participating in a gesture that has connected humans for over 100,000 years. That's the ancient secret your eyebrows carry. Thanks for watching. Keep those brows expressive. See you in the next video.